hot, man. It's hot today, but the next 2 days, which is the weekend, it's gonna be much cooler than it is today. But today is bill payment day, so I go the day of. Shit, fuck it. I don't wait. I don't like to delay my shit before paying my bills. Well, let's get to the topic at hand about Gohan. This is considering Gohan if the wasn't uh, evident enough. This is what Gohan was after the Boo arc. No, I mean not after Boo. I mean after the Cell arc. It's been 7 years. It's 7 years have passed between the Cell arc when Gohan defeated Cell and before the Boo arc begins. Before we see him going to school on a flying Nimbus. And he's like 17, 18 years old at this point. I'm thinking 18. I always thought he was 17. I'm thinking he was 18 because he was 11 years old when he defeated Cell. Add 7 and that is 18. So that's 7 years, 18. So yeah, somebody had mentioned that it was out of character for Gohan to not train. I beg to differ. I don't think it was out of character for Gohan not to train. Case in point being Chi-Chi, his mom. And we all know as Dragon Ball Z fans that Chi-Chi's mom wasn't never keen on her son training. Even DBZ Kakarot covers that. It was one point in the game where she says, okay, if you do your studies, I can possibly squeeze in some time to teach you how to fight. This is when Gohan was still a boy. After they came back from Namek, that's what Chi-Chi pretty much told him. She said, yeah. She said, but only after you do your studies. Make sure you do your studies, and then I'll do my part. So that's Chi-Chi. Chi-Chi. It's like it wasn't like she wanted to do it. She just was doing it as a favor to her son for doing the studies to be a scholar and shit. Now let's jump back into the anime after the Cell games. During the 7-year gap as to why Gohan didn't train, continue to get stronger. Chi-Chi. Remember, Goku's no longer in the picture. He's dead. He's in the netherworld with all that shit. So he's not around anymore. His father Goku's not around. Goku, who encouraged Gohan to train and all that shit and everything. And Goku wasn't there to beg Chi-Chi so he could train Gohan on occasion and all that shit. He wasn't there to do all that. So only person Gohan had as a guardian was Chi-Chi. And Chi-Chi, she's not going to encourage Gohan to train. And number 2, it was a period of peace for 7 years. So with that going around, Gohan, I feel, this is a speculation B, I feel he wasn't encouraged to train. He was discouraged from training because he was living his life as a normal being for a change. And that's like 2 reasons why I feel Gohan didn't train. Number 1 being Chi-Chi, his mom, and number 2, the 7 years of peace. Well, Vegeta trained, you may say. Yeah, that's true because that's saying blood. And plus, it's Vegeta, for crying out loud. None of us can picture Vegeta just sitting by idly not doing shit. Vegeta's not only training to best Kakarot, even though he didn't know if Kakarot was even going to come back to Earth. He trained because that's what he does. That's his routine. That's what he fucking does. Like a video game person who likes video games like myself plays video games on occasion. It's a hobby. It was a hobby of Vegeta to train. You know, I'm pretty sure he got some amount of therapy from it, training and all that shit. You know, Gohan wasn't like that, man. And Gohan is not even 100% Saiyan. He's also half human. So it's like he has half that blood in him. Because if you want to talk about it's in their blood to train Saiyans to be better and all that shit, Gohan only had a fraction of that, or 50%. You know. Not to mention his daughter Videl. I mean, his daughter Pan. I'm bad. Videl was Pan's mom and Gohan's wife. His daughter Videl had less than 50% Saiyan in her. So that's pretty much, I feel, why Gohan didn't train and it was not out of character. The circumstances really didn't allow Gohan the desire to train. Chi-Chi, the peaceful conditions of Earth, shit like that. And what did Gohan say when he was a little boy? At least it's covered in the DBZ Kakarot game. Way before the Saiyans came to Earth, before they met Raditz, Goku was like, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Gohan says, "I want to be a scholar." This boy was like, what, 4 or 5 years old. He said he wanted to be a scholar. At 5 years old? I mean, he already knew what he wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? And you can say it was Chi-Chi's implanted in his head. I wouldn't say that's not true. But that's what he said to his father when Goku asked him when they were out fishing what he wanted to be. He said he wanted to be a famous scholar, you know. And Gohan was, and this brings the third reason, besides Chi-Chi and the peaceful conditions of why he wasn't training. The third reason why Gohan didn't train the 7 years, because he was studying to become a scholar. He had no time. He didn't make time. Rather, he didn't make time to train. There you go. He didn't make the time for it. And the reason why we're speculating is because the Dragon Ball Z manga or the television series doesn't tell us why Gohan didn't train through the 7 years. We just know he didn't, or he lacked training. If he did train, he did a little bit of it. You know, and I think, and I'm gonna speculate again that I think he did a little training, and the little training he did was because of his little brother, Goten. You know, big brother, want to show off. So they play together instead of playing hopscotch or fucking catch or racing and all that shit, or taking your brother out to the candy store. Whatever big brothers would do to make their little brothers happy, they would go out and they would spar a little bit. So that's a little training that Gohan, the very little, if you want to call it a little bit, that he got was when he spent time with Goten. You know, so I mean, I can make a fourth speculation as to why Gohan didn't train. It's basically because of Goten. I mean, he was so into his brother, spending time with his little brother. You know, because, you know, he's a big brother. You know, he wants to make sure Goten's life is great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can imagine that Gohan was hoping that peace will remain until his dying day, because Gohan wasn't keen on fighting. That's why he was holding his power back against Cell. You had Android 16 to encourage him to let it out. It's okay. I mean, say it for the fact that he was afraid he was going to destroy the whole fucking world, or his powers going to go haywire. That's why he didn't want to release it. You know, it was fear. Gohan had fear of his own power. But since Cell is now gone, Gohan didn't have to worry about that no more. He can live like everybody else. He can become a scholar, be a big brother, be a good son, be a model student in his school. Um, you know, and what does a great Saiyan man come into play? I just thought about great Saiyan man here. It comes plenty into play. I mean, it was the great Saiyan man character was basically Gohan drawing attention to himself, stopping petty crimes and shit like that. I think the great Saiyaman character was fucking funny. It shows you that Gohan is, to me, I seen it as Gohan having a sense of humor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he liked the attention that the great Saiyaman brought him. Because I felt that Gohan was like a outsider in school. Nobody talked to him, really. Girls didn't really look at him. I mean, they probably did a little bit. Gohan is not a bad-looking dude. But they wasn't like, I felt like into him, like, ooh, I want to date this guy. So in order to Gohan to get that attention from the ladies, he became the great Saiyan man, not necessarily just to stop crime, but to get the attention of women. That's why I feel that he became the great Saiyan man. The real reason why he became the great Saiyan man. But outside that, Gohan was enjoying his life So I don't know when he started becoming the great Saiyan. He probably started at 16. I don't know. But when we see him, he's 18 years old. Starting on the Buu saga. So he's probably been doing a great Saiyan man for about a year before we see him again in the Buu saga. But anyways, so that's pretty much my speculation as to why Gohan didn't train. I believe that at least one of my speculations is true as to why he didn't. And it's not out of his character. Like I said, Daddy wasn't around to encourage that shit. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you had peace. That's discouraging. Gohan had no reason to train. When he trained before, he had reason to do it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, shit, he wasn't even sure if he could become Super Saiyan when he was 10 years old. I mean, come on. Goku was like, you could become a Super Saiyan. He said, me? A Super Saiyan? I mean, that doesn't mean Gohan didn't think it was possible. We ain't saying that. We're saying the fact that Gohan himself wouldn't be able to attain that level of power. That's what he was saying. Because people may think like, oh, Gohan, I really think it was possible for him to become Super Saiyan, even though he's the son of a Saiyan. I mean, I wouldn't say he didn't think it was possible, like I said, but he had doubt. Gohan had doubt and shit. We got to remember that Gohan is not Goku. Yes, he's a son, but that's about it. You know what I mean? And I think it's kind of, I'm going to tell you what issue I had with Gohan's character. I'm going to tell you an issue that people are not talking about. As a 5-year-old, he was rightly scared to train. I mean, you going to leave a 5-year-old in the wilderness to fend for himself? Yes, that's some scary shit. Any 5-year-old be crying to mommy, I want to go home. And I felt that Dragon Ball Z Kakarot did a great job of showing us what it was like when Gohan was, during those 6 months, fending for himself in the wilderness when he was like fucking 5 years old. 5 going on 6 or 4 going on 5, I don't know. Something like, he was around that age, 4 or 5 or 6, by the time Vegeta and Nappa came to Earth. Because don't forget, it was like a year later, he aged a year. So it made sense he was afraid and shit like that. Now, what gets me about Gohan's character is that his willingness to go to Namek. I would have think that he would have been like, well, good luck on the Dragon Balls. I'm gonna stay with mommy. I ain't going to Namek. You know, he's still a kid. He's not a fucking adult. Chi-Chi obviously wanted him to stay. But Gohan put his foot down on his own mother. He was like fucking 6 years old. He's like, I'm going. She was like, okay, shit. Because in the DBZ Kakarot game, fuck, yeah, something on my phone. The DBZ Kakarot game, we didn't see him put his foot down against Chi-Chi, but we did see that Chi-Chi was kind of reluctant for him going there. But she was allowing it because he was with Bulma and Krillin. You know, he's the strongest fucking Earthling, I bet, on Earth, Krillin, or among them. So he was in good hands, you know what I'm saying? And she didn't really think that was going to go down where he's going to have to defend himself or Gohan's life was going to be in danger like that. I didn't think she thought that. She was going to go to Namek, be gone for what? About 2 months? 2 months and a half at the most, and then be back. And everything could be gravy, you know? But yeah, his willingness to go to Namek was kind of off to me, but that's about it, you know. So that's an issue that I had with his character. And at the same time, after Namek, he was reluctant to even fight, and he didn't even think he was going to fight against Cell. Goku was like, "You're gonna fight my son." He was like, "You're gonna fight my son next." Gohan was like, "What? What the fuck, Dad?" You know what I'm saying? That's true. I got stronger, but goddamn. See, Gohan wasn't even expecting to fight Cell. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, Piccolo didn't like it, you know what I'm saying? But people didn't say like, oh, that contradicts Piccolo's personality too, because Piccolo was the one that took him and put him in the wilderness for 6 months to defend himself and shit like that. My counter to that would be, this to me is like the only reason why Piccolo felt bad that Goku was pushing his son and still have him in that bear hug and shit. And Piccolo's like, Goku, go save him. This shit needs to stop, you know? I'm thinking Piccolo, this is me thinking now, because like I said, the narrative don't tell us this. Piccolo probably regretted leaving that boy in that wilderness for 6 months to fend for himself. He probably, because Piccolo, time has passed now, Piccolo's changed, you know what I'm saying? He probably would have still took him to the wilderness at that point, but he wouldn't have left him to fend for himself for 6 months. Because Piccolo was more cold back then. He was using Gohan for selfish reasons. We talking about Piccolo here, yes, in the Saiyan saga. He was using Piccolo, Tien, and Krillin for selfish reasons. But over time, by the time the year passed in the wilderness, Piccolo heart softened towards Gohan. You know what I'm saying? So that's my reasons why Piccolo was so against Goku having Cell pummel and give Gohan pain and shit. Because Goku was mistakenly thinking that was going to bring out his powers and shit like that. Even though Goku miscalculated. But yeah, back to Gohan. So those are my thoughts on why I don't feel that was out of character for Gohan not to train after the Cell games. So those are my thoughts there. If you have any additional thoughts, feel free to tell me. You know, don't be shy. If you disagree, tell me why. Tell me why you felt. Oh, I hate this talking. Sorry about that speaker. Anyways, so you can tell me why you disagree, why you felt that Gohan should have trained. I'd like to hear that. Because I didn't see no reason why he was even encouraged to train. I mean, he wasn't around Vegeta anyway, you know what I'm saying? He was with his mommy. He was with Chi-Chi. So, with that being said, this is why Chromosome sat now. Peace and love. Good health to you all. And be safe out there. Peace. I'm out, baby.